Hey there. We spend so much of our lives online, right? Clicking, typing, browsing. But behind every single one of those actions, there's this silent, invisible process that makes the entire digital world, well, work. So today, we're going to pull back that curtain and meet the web's silent partner, the web server. I mean, really think about it for a second. You click a link, and poof, a fraction of a second later, a whole new world just appears on your screen. It feels like magic, doesn't it? But it's not. It's actually this beautifully simple and orderly process. It's like an invisible conversation that's happening at the speed of light. So what is really going on in that tiny, almost instantaneous gap between your click and the page loading? The best way to understand how the web works is to just think of it as a very simple, very polite conversation. And this conversation has two key players, and each one has a very specific job to do. So on one side, you've got the client. Now that's just your web browser, Chrome, Safari, Firefox, whatever you happen to use. Its job is just to ask for things. Then on the other side, you have the server. Think of it as a special computer that belongs to that specific website. Its only job is to listen for those requests and provide a reply. The one who asks and the one who answers. It's really as simple as that. So to put a slightly more formal definition on it, a web server is basically a specialized computer that hosts a website. And that just means it stores all the files that make up the site. The text, the images, the videos, all of it. Its main job is to just sit there, connected to the internet, and listen, waiting for a browser, a client, to ask for one of those files. Now, to make sure this conversation isn't just total chaos, there have to be rules, what we call a protocol. It's kind of like being in a classroom. You don't just shout out your question, right? No, you raise your hand, the teacher sees you, you ask your question, and then they answer. That whole system, that protocol, makes sure communication happens smoothly. And the web's conversation, well, it has its own set of rules too. All right, so let's actually follow the journey of one single click. We're going to trace the path of one request, starting from the moment you send it from your browser, all the way to the website server, and then we'll see how that information gets all the way back to you. And I know, this whole thing might sound really complex, but it's not. It's really just a simple, logical sequence of steps. There aren't any secret, mysterious parts. It's just a clear journey that your request takes, a journey that's happening millions of times a minute, all over the world. Okay, so it all starts the moment you type a web address. Your browser then has to figure out where that website actually lives. So it basically uses a digital address book to look up the site's unique IP address. Once it has that location, your browser sends out a formal request, a little message that just zips across the internet to the right web server. As soon as it arrives, the server gets to work, finds the file you asked for on its hard drive, and then it packages that file up and sends it right back across the internet to you. And finally, your browser catches that package, opens it, and displays the page right there on your screen. That is the entire round trip in a nutshell. Now, for any of that back and forth to actually work, both sides have to be speaking the same language. This shared standard is called HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's the set of rules we mentioned earlier. It's like the grammar that makes sure the client's request and the server's response are perfectly understood by everyone. You could say it's the official language of the web. Okay, so we've talked about the server's role in this whole conversation, but what is a server physically? Where do these things actually live? Well, it can be helpful to think of them as being part of a gigantic, always-on digital library. Yeah, a server isn't just a regular old desktop computer. These are purpose-built, super powerful machines designed to run 24/7 without ever stopping. Their entire existence is dedicated to storing and distributing content, whether that's a simple web page, a high-def video stream on YouTube, or even your email. They are the real workhorses of the internet. And these powerful machines, they don't live by themselves. To handle the millions and millions of requests for popular websites, they're all grouped together, thousands of them, in these massive, super secure buildings called data centers. These centers basically combine the power of all those individual computers to act like one incredibly powerful super server. And the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. A single data center, say for a company like Google, can house over 100,000 servers. Just try to picture that. Entire city blocks filled with nothing but raw computing power, spread all across the globe, all of them just humming away, waiting to answer your next click. So when you start to zoom out, you really begin to see the bigger picture. Our vast, complex, totally vibrant digital world is actually built on this incredibly simple and really elegant foundation. Every single search, every video you watch, every article you read, It all comes down to this one thing. Billions upon billions of these simple, polite conversations. A client asks a question, and a server gives an answer. And that simple little interaction, repeated at a scale that's almost impossible to imagine, is what creates the entire World Wide Web. So if you just take away a few things today, remember this. The web is built on a simple conversation between a client, that's your browser, and a server. That server is a powerful computer that hosts all the website's files and replies to your requests. The whole conversation follows a strict set of rules called HTTP, and all of this is only possible because of millions of servers living in these massive data centers all over the world. And that, right there, is the web's silent partner, the web server. It's really a beautiful example of a hidden system that creates this immense order from just a few simple rules. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible systems, what other silent partners are out there quietly creating order and structure in our world, just waiting for us to notice?